Hello, my name is Ramiro Marroquin, and this is the final part of my presentation for our social psychology class. All right, now in this part, I will be going over the statistical results. Sorry, results and the age data. Basically, I'll be going over some of the data. I'll be kind of discussing some of the potential weaknesses of our experiment, and just kind of discussing some of the responses a little more, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so one thing that I found very interesting, I kind of hinted at it in, I believe, the second video. 26 females out of our pool of participants. 26 of them were females, and 13 of them were males. Now, Now I find this very interesting is that we have female majority in our data pool, which I would say I would leave that to circumstance. So I think that was just sort of, I guess more people happened to be driving that day, or but that's more of a theory. Anyway, so as I said before, 66.67% of our participants were female. Now, interesting part about it is 92.31% of our female participants were compliant, while 7.69% of our female participants were not compliant. So as you can see, as I've stated before, our experiment which was to prove whether people would be obedient to authority figures in their orders. In this case, with the cone and the kind of the officer and the professional outfit. We actually were right. Again, as this proves, most of the female participants were compliant. Only a small percent weren't. Now, in contrast, on the male side, which is interesting because we didn't have much data on the male side because we had a shortage of male participants. But 33% of our male participants, 30% of our participants, which means the whole data pool, 33% of them were 33.33% of them were male. I found this very interesting as it's clear that they were in the minority. Males were in the minority, which is very interesting. However, something that I found extremely interesting was that out of the 33% of our pool that was male, 92.31% of the males were compliant, while only 7.69% were compliant. So what I found interesting was just how identical these kind of results were. So that made me think, even though it was differences in sex, there's literally almost little to no difference in how many were compliant or non-compliant. It's the same percentages, which is very interesting. It kind of shows that maybe when it comes to obedience to authority figures, it's not really different in regards to sex. So I found it very, very interesting. And I have a chart here on the right, which fortunately I can't show. For our cone experiment, which was our first experiment, we had 8 females who complied, 2 males who complied, 1 female who complied, and 1 male who was non-compliant. So again, most complied. majority of both sexes complied. Casual, 10 female, 10 females complied, 3 males complied, and 1 female did not comply, and 0 males complied. So, um, while we don't have any data on how, if any males non-complied, we do know that females, for the ratio 10 to 1, mostly complied. Now, professional. Now, this makes it very interesting. 6 females. When we did, I should explain, the professional part was sort of the last method. Now, for females, females, 6 complied. While for the males, 7 complied. As far as being non-compliant, we literally have no data on that, as none of the individuals who we surveyed during this process, part of the process, non-compliant in any way. So again, I found it very interesting, as this is the only category in which males have a certain basis, have a certain, I guess, a bit of an upstep, if you know what I mean. Now, age data. Now, here's the interesting part. Now, as far as the age range goes, we went from around the age of 18 years old to the age of 50. Some quick facts are that 71.80% of all our participants were between 18 and 28 years old. Of course, considering that we're at a college campus and we're kind of in the process of becoming a traditional campus, this is to be expected. Now, another interesting part about it is, can't see